Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He's the Trackle Dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bates. Crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana. Now they love him in Japan. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young lady who has actually been making a name for herself in one of my favorite countries, a country that I would gladly retire to. No, I don't mean to sound unpatriotic, America, but hey, you know, I just got a lot of love for Canada, living there for a year and a half. And she has also shared the ring with veterans such as Rebel, Allison Kay, and Casey Spinelli. She is a judoka and not only that, a former Battle Arts women's champion. Everybody, welcome to the show, Amy Crimson.
Hi guys, it's awesome to be on here. I'm glad that you guys have me as a guest.
Hey, no problem. I remember you contacted us last time, and I guess our schedules clashed and whatnot, so we couldn't make it happen. But we're very glad that we're able to make it happen this time. Amy, I gotta say, you are one heck of an athlete.
Oh, thank you.
I saw your match against Scarlett Delgado.
Oh,
you were throwing that girl around like she was a kid. I was like, yo, man, I was like, you were tossing that girl around like she was like nothing, man. I was like, geez.
Thank you. That actually means a lot.
And then I saw your match against Panda Power.
Yeah.
Where you were teaming with Allison Kay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, out of the four, you may have been, like, I guess you could say, the least experienced, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way.
No way.
But you were not taking any lefts. You were out there like making them put some respect on your name. I was like, yo, man, hey, for all our fellow American, for our American viewers, I don't think y'all ready, but to get y'all ready, y'all make sure y'all follow this young lady. She is that damn good.
Thank you.
She is no joke.
Thank you. That actually means a lot. Like the fact that like people can watch and like actually like what they see is just like a goal for me. Like the fact that people enjoy me as a wrestler, like I feel like I'm doing my job properly.
Yeah, man, and I'm like, geez, when I saw you do that judo throw, I was like, yo. I was like, hey, you want them wrestlers? If you ever came and told me, hey, buy my merch, I'd be like, hey, don't hurt me. I'll buy one in each color. Just leave me alone. Don't beat me up. Don't kill me, man. But yeah, that's hella impressive, man. And I gotta say, if I had to choose a top 20 for women wrestlers, and I'm not just saying this because you're in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it because you're a judoka, but if I had to choose a top 20 of women to watch for 2022, because 2021 is already almost done. I mean, you got October, almost halfway through October, you got November, it's almost done. But if I had to choose the top 20 for 2022, you would definitely be in my top 20 after what I just saw. I was very amazed. But yeah, so I hope you didn't have to answer. I haven't seen your other interviews, but we normally ask every pretty much every one of our guests, how did it start you? How did your fandom for how did you get like what got you into professional wrestling? Like what made you become a fan?
So I was a fan at a very young age. I started watching it with my brother. So my dad actually introduced me and my brother to it. So my uncle and all my family members, like they always grew up with wrestling. So it was kind of in the family. So I was kind of like I was used to it, but I wasn't introduced to it until I was like 8 years old. So I think it was like an ECW with like MVP and CM Punk. It was just a random ECW that we turned on, and I think at the time it was in late 2007, early 2008, because I'm a '98 baby, so I kind of grew up on the Ruthless Aggression era. Well, I started watching when it was more PG than compared to the Ruthless Aggression era. But yeah, I started watching it when I was 8 years old, and I was hooked onto it. I knew I wanted to be a wrestler since I was 8 years old, ever since I started watching it. And yeah, pretty much wrestling's been majority of my life. I've been a wrestling fan for, yeah, pretty much since I was 8, and nothing compares to wrestling. And then I got into judo right after I started professional wrestling. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into wrestling.
Oh, geez. So for some reason, I got a feeling that you were that one girl that saw all the boys wrestling, and you went over there and you probably took them out. You were like, "That's not how you do that, home. Come here!" And then you showed them. You had them screaming in agony, and then they ran away from you. And the other kids that watched were like, "Yo, that's so cool."
Well, I was always a shy kid, and wrestling was the one thing that was my go-to. So to be a shy kid and then want to be like an entertainer, it's something that doesn't mix too well. But wrestling was my number one goal, and it was always something I just loved and turned to. And I was always that girl that would like, basically, if the guys were talking about wrestling, I'll be that one girl that would be like basically debating with them and like basically telling them like, no, this is how it is, this is how wrestling is, like don't tell me different, like I know everything about it, you can't tell me anything. And I was always that one girl that stood out, that liked WWE compared to all the other girls. So like I always grew up as like kind of like a tom girl, where like I loved WWE, played the WWE games, everything WWE, read the magazines, just everything WWE was my childhood basically.
Wow, that's cool. I was kind of like that too. But I growing up, I was more watching. So I grew up in Guyana, and we didn't have like
Yeah.
access to like wrestling as much. So I took what I could get. But we did, growing up in my teens, when I hit my teens, I started collecting magazines when I was 13, going on 14,
Yeah.
and they actually we had a thing. What I collected was The Wrestler. There was a magazine called The Wrestler. And what I
Yeah.
liked about that was not only was it WWE, but it was like a combination of everything:
Yeah.
WCW, ECW, USWA,
Mhm.
and they also had a article, a column called Spotlight, and Spotlight would always show us the up and coming
Yeah.
wrestlers, in professional wrestling.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like that too. I was always playing the wrestling games. I'll tell my mom, "Mom, this game came out.
Yeah.
Can I get it?" And I would always be in a rush to play it and whatnot. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, it was a definitely those are some great times.
Yeah.
So who were some of your favorites growing up that you enjoyed watching?
So there was actually a couple. One of my favorites growing up was John Cena. So as the years progressed, I kind of watched John Cena a lot, and I started to watch the basic thugonomics, and it kind of tied into like kind of like my character today, but like a little different. So like there's a little characteristics of John Cena, hence the hat. But I tried to like make it a little different, but he was actually one of my favorites growing up. And then there was also Chris Jericho growing up, and Edge, and currently right now Kevin Owens is my favorite. But as the years progressed, I started to look into the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, and I started to pick people that I liked the most out of each era. And then I realized that I was a huge fan of Eddie Guerrero, like most people. The only thing is that I didn't get the courtesy of watching him as like his time, but as I started doing wrestling, I watched it, I loved him, and now he's like one of my inspirations onto why I do this. Because like his passion for the business, like it reminds me of how much passion I have for wrestling. So that's why I like his wrestling. And then there was Edge and Trish Stratus, and then also Asuka inspires me to do this because Asuka's like one of my favorites.
That's cool. That's a great list of inspirations right there. Eddie Guerrero will definitely always be one of the best. Um, have you ever gotten to meet his daughter Shaul or
No.
his nephew? I can't believe they're actually only 3 years apart. Have you ever gotten to meet Chavo Guerrero?
No, so I didn't actually get to meet any of them, which I hopefully one day I will. But the only thing I mostly did, I haven't really met like a lot of wrestlers other than when I was wrestling on the indie scene, as well as when I go back to the indie scene. Obviously, I'm going to meet a lot of people. But the only thing I mostly did before I got into wrestling was mostly just go to the house shows and the wrestling shows and the pay-per-views that were in my town in Toronto, Canada. So that was mostly the things that I did before I started doing wrestling.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Man, Canada has a whether it's Vancouver, Quebec, or Toronto, y'all have a rich history of wrestling. You know, if I ever go back, I used to live in Canada for a year and a
Yeah.
half, and like I said, I'm not just here saying this because you're in front of me. People do not give Canada the credit it deserves. It is a lovely country. If
Yeah.
somebody ever gave me a free ticket to Toronto, a round trip ticket, I'm like, I'll leave tomorrow. Let me know. You know, I had an aunt that I used to live with there, and it
Yeah.
was just lovely. It's clean. If you're a nature person, it's a great place to
Yeah.
camp. Yeah, Canada's definitely awesome, and y'all have like a rich history of like wrestlers that came there.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorites, the Hart family. You know, they're
Mhm.
from there too. I don't know how far you are from Calgary, but
Pretty far. I think
yeah.
like it'll take like me almost a day to get to Calgary. Canada's pretty nice. Just the cold weather, we hit like -40. So imagine like when it's the seasons, because we have seasonal changes, right? So we have fall, winter, summer. So when it's summer, when you're training in like your wrestling facility, it's super hot. It's like super hot where you're humid and you're sweating, and then in the wintertime it's super cold and you're freezing, so you have to wear like 3 sweaters just to like wrestle, or like wear a sweater just to wrestle. So it's nice, but if you hate the cold, it's crazy. It can go really cold and it can be really humid, and then in the fall and spring it's like medium, so it's like you don't know what you're gonna get kind of thing. So but I love Canada. It's my home.
Yeah, trust me, I know about the cold over there. I was there, and I remember we had like in school, we had like a glass back door, and I
Yeah.
think we got like 3 feet of snow or 4 feet of
Yeah.
snow, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Definitely a wonderful place. So now that you're a fan, you know, you're playing the wrestling games, reading the magazines, going to the house shows, and watching the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
How did your journey go from fan to pro wrestler?
Um, so I basically started to not watch it when I was like going into high school. Still loved it, still watched all the highlights and everything. But I actually went to my brother's school fair. He's 2 years younger than me, so he wasn't in high school at the time. And there was a former WWE superstar, Anthony Corelli, aka Santino Marella, and he grew up in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada. And he just so happened to be at the fair. I guess he knew somebody prior, maybe from high school or from school or something. So they were at my school fair. And at the time, I think I was 15 years old. So at the time, I'm a huge WWE fan. Like, I've like loved WWE. It's Santino Marella, so I meet him. And the first thing I say to him is, "Oh, I want to become a professional wrestler." And at that time, I'm 15 years old, looking like I'm 12. I haven't hit puberty yet. Um, and he tells me, "How old are you?" And I'm like, I'm 15. And he's like, "Okay, well, you're going to have to wait a little bit until at least you're 19, 18." And he's like, "Go to school, find a wrestling school, and then basically save money and then attend the wrestling school, and then you could become a professional wrestler." So the time passes. I graduate high school. I take a year off. I save money. I'm 19 years old at the time, and then I register for Battle Arts Academy, which is owned by Anthony Corelli, aka Santino Marella, in Mississauga, Ontario. So then I started training, and now it's been almost three and a half years, I think, since I became a professional wrestler. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Wow, that's cool. Battle Arts. I'm watching Battle Arts. Battle Arts is looking like one of those, like, it looks like the training is tough, and I
Yeah,
could imagine because what people tend to forget is that even though although Santino Morella's character that he played
yeah.
in WB was a comedic character,
Mm-hmm.
he is a legit martial artist.
Yes,
So
yes, he is.
you don't have to tell me. I already know the training that he puts on y'all is intense. Like I said, the way you did that judo throw on Scarlett, I was like, oh, Santino had them on lock over there, man. Like,
He's actually funny thing. He's actually my sensei for judo. So he's actually he at the time, because currently I'm like I stopped training due to COVID. But when I do go back, he's currently my sensei and my wrestling coach. So it's funny because he is literally on me 24/7, basically being like, you have to make sure you're eating properly, working out properly. And then on top of that, because he's my wrestling coach, I go to judo practice and he's like, how come you didn't come to wrestling practice? Or how come you didn't come to judo practice? So it's pretty funny, but he's a great coach and he always helps you and makes sure that you're doing your 100%. So I wouldn't be where I am without him, kind of thing.
yeah, I used to watch because Battle Arts had a bit of a I think they had a bit of a weekly episodic show at one point, and then I kind of fell off of watching it because, I mean, you as a fan of these days know that we all know that there's a lot of wrestling out there to watch, and sometimes you could miss like a week or two of a promotion because you're busy watching this promotion and so on. And I remember like I'd see like so many people, and those shows were great. And that's what actually it did. Battle Arts also introduced me to one of your past opponents, Divya.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her as well too. And y'all definitely do good work over there. So what was your first match like? Like how'd that go for you?
So my first match, like everyone else, is probably going to be something that they want to. Sorry, my internet's like a little, so it might cut out a little bit. But my first, like I was saying, my first match was like everyone else's, probably not the best, probably something that they want to forget. But my first match was, I believe I was like only 2 months in, not even, I think a month in. And at the time, we didn't have a lot of girls at Battle Arts, so all the girls were like basically training at the same level. And at this time, I'm 2 months in or a month in, and I don't have a character, nothing. So Anthony, aka Santino, he basically tells me, he's like, okay, I'm gonna put you in a practice match. You're gonna see where you're at, and if I like you and you're doing good and you're progressing well, I'm gonna put you on the show. So I have a practice match with Natalie Bramwell. She was a former Battle Arts woman that trained there, and she was experienced, and she basically put me under her wing. And this was a practice match, so mind you, I didn't have a name. It was in front of a kid's birthday party, so this was my first match in front of people. I only trained in front of my peers, and I only had matches in front of my peers at that point. I didn't have a name, so he just threw together a name. He said Amy, and then he gave me like a babyface white name kind of thing, and I ran with it. The kids loved me, so he threw me into the show. And at this point, I didn't have an actual ring name, so all I had was Amy at the time. So at the back of the change room, we're getting ready, and Bianca Corelli's daughter was announcing at the time. She was training with us too to become a professional wrestler. And she was ring announcing, and she comes up to me and she's like, Cassandra, you don't have a wrestling name. Like, we need a wrestling name. All I have down is Amy. You need like a last name. So I'm brainstorming and I'm thinking, I didn't know I was supposed to have a last name. I thought it was like a one name basis kind of thing. Because when you're training for only 2 months, you don't think of these things. Because I thought it was going to be like at least a year until I got back into the ring. So fast forward, it's 10 minutes until the actual match. And we put together, I'm putting crimson lipstick on. And then we just put together Amy Crimson. And that's how my name came about. And I've been using this name ever since. That's my ring name. And then I had a tag team match. So I believe I was a babyface. And I held my own. I pulled out a Stone Cold Stunner in my first match. I ate the pin though. I got knocked out in the pin, and I ate it. But overall, it was a great experience. I know there was things I could have worked on, and obviously, since my first match, I got better. But overall, the experience was good. The crowd was awesome, and I don't think I would ever regret doing that first match, even though it wasn't as perfect as I would think and hope for. I just think it was overall a good experience and a learning experience.
Yeah, that sounds yeah, that definitely sounds pretty good. Yeah, yeah. So Natalie Bramwell, when you mentioned Natalie Bramwell, I was like, wait a minute, that name sounds familiar. I was like, boom. So Natalie Bramwell, she's a bodybuilder, right?
Yes. So she used to
Yeah,
train with
but
us at Battle Arts. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, that name sounds so familiar. And yeah, I remember like she's a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
and I've seen her on Instagram before. And
Yeah.
yeah, she's definitely she definitely looks impressive as well.
So I
And
actually tagged in that match. I actually tagged with Nessa Love. She is now known as Aurora Wrestling now. But I tagged with her in my first match versus Bianca Budice and Natalie Bramwell. So that was my first match. So I actually had my first match in a tag match, which usually not a lot of people have. Their first match is usually in a singles match, but it was an interesting experience to have a first match in a tag match. So it was cool.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely awesome. And I know Bianca's training. I think she already debuted. I know that she was getting into it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think she may have already debuted. But that's
Yeah.
awesome. I definitely got to check more Battle Arts, man, because y'all doing the damn thing up
Thank
there, man.
you.
And I'm impressed by it. But yeah, so since wrestling, have you gotten to like go to any like place other than Toronto? Have you gone to like Vancouver, or have you ever even crossed the border over here? I mean, to
Not
America,
yet.
or
Not yet.
okay,
So right now my goal was to basically try and do the best I can in the Ontario indie scene at first, save up money, and then try and go to the US and try and go and wrestle there, maybe go wrestle in Panama, wrestle in Mexico and Japan, and all like the indie circuits, the UK. Try to save up and just travel the world to wrestle. That was the main goal. But just to make my name known and like to put my name out there and to make my name like a household name, that's the goal for me, and to basically like make a name somewhere else other than Battle Arts. So yeah, that's the goal.
yeah, that's cool. If you ever get a chance to go to Japan, I was stationed in Japan for 3 years. If you
Mhm.
ever get that chance, go with a smile. You will enjoy it. Take it in. The food's awesome. The people are courteous. If you got to go to Tokyo at least. I'd say go to Osaka too, but if you don't get to go to Osaka, which is actually just as fun, go to Tokyo. Check out Shibuya Crossing. It's their version of Times Square here in New York. It's just awesome. I miss it. I'm gonna go back one more time,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's definitely fun. And if you end up coming over here to America, I don't know if you've been over here before, but
I've been
you
there when
know,
I was younger. Like I've been there only twice. I've been to
okay,
Florida twice. It was only when I was like 9 and
hmm
when I was I believe 6. And I believe the first time I went, I missed WrestleMania because I believe WrestleMania 24 was in Florida, I believe.
yeah,
So
Orlando.
I think I went a week after it was WrestleMania, and I think I was so crushed to find out that there was wrestling there and I couldn't go. But yeah, I've only been there twice, and I was too young to remember it.
Yeah. If you ever go to New York, if you ever come over here to New York, you'll enjoy it too as well. There's a
Yeah.
lot to see. I recommend Central Park. If best time to come is during like I'd say between May, like
Hmm.
late April, early May.
Hmm.
And then like right now is a good time to come too because it's not too cold, not too hot.
Yeah.
It's just right. So but yeah, you know, honestly speaking, I could definitely see you going far. I could see you going to Japan and England and all those places. I'm telling you, you like I said, I'm gonna see this. I'm not saying this because you're in front of me. I got a gut feeling that you're gonna be one of the people that people are gonna put respect on who's gonna have
And
respect put on the name in the coming years. I
and
could definitely see it.
that's the goal,
Um,
honestly.
yeah. So I just got two more questions
Yeah, no worries.
before I turn it over to Rob. And
Yep.
my second to last question is, you got the team with Allison Kay.
Yeah.
Um, Allison Kay, former NWA World Women's
Yeah.
champion. I think maybe 10-year vet. I got to meet her personally. She's a really cool
Yeah.
person. Um, what was your mindset when you were told that you were going to be tagging with her? Were you nervous, like, oh my gosh, it's Allison Kay, and she's been on Impact and former Knockouts champion.
Yeah.
How am I gonna? I can't mess this up. What am I gonna do? Or were you like, something? I'm a battle arts alumni, man. Santino Morello's my sensei. I got this. Or was that a combination of both? Because I would
Um,
have been nervous, like if I was teaming with Rob, and Rob was like a 10-year vet, and
yeah.
somebody tell me, yeah, Remy, you're teaming with Rob Bass. I'm like, yeah, Rob Bass. Like, how am I gonna keep up with this guy? Like, like I don't want to mess up. Like, what was your mindset?
Well, I only had a week's notice, because I was actually a last minute fill-in, because I believe Nova was supposed to wrestle, but something came up where she couldn't wrestle. So, basically, the promoter messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I have a position for you. Do you want to come main event with Allison Kay, Rebel, and Casey Spinelli at Revolution?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. That's an awesome opportunity." So as a kid, I was only, at the time, I'm 23 now. But at the time when I main evented, I was only 21, and everyone was like veterans in there. Like you had Casey Spinelli, who's been running the game for like so long on the Ontario Indices and everywhere she goes because she's awesome. And then you have Rebel, you have Casey Spinelli, and then you also had Masha Slamovich there as well, who's changing the game as we speak on the indie scene in America. So I was basically the youngest in the change room, and I was scared. I honestly felt the whole day I felt like I was gonna shit my pants. Like no lie, I was so scared. And then they could tell I was nervous because in the beginning I didn't even introduce me as my wrestling name. I introduced me as myself. And then the number one thing there was like, okay, don't introduce your real name, introduce as your ring name. So that was the one mistake I made, but they laughed it off and they said, don't worry, like, don't be shy, like, just be yourself and, like, just be comfortable because, like, if you're comfortable, you're going to do fine kind of thing. So obviously I was scared because I was in the ring with, like, veterans who've been knowing the game for, like, so long, more than 10 years. And at the time, I think I was only a year and a half in or, like, maybe going on the 2-year mark. So I was basically considered green, but not in my school kind of thing. It was basically just like I was experienced enough to have the opportunity, but I was never like experienced enough to venture out. So that was actually my first indie match. The fact that I like performed in my first indie match in a main event was awesome, but they gave me so much advice that will last my whole career. They said that I'm cute, that I'm marketable, that I have what it takes kind of thing, that I listen well, and then I actually impressed them when I was in the ring. So the fact that I impressed each and every single one of them was an amazing opportunity, and it was like great. I could never like top that. I mean, there's going to be better opportunities in my career, but so far that was one of the greatest opportunities I had to shine and showcase what I have.
Yeah, that's cool that they actually did that. And yeah, they're right. Like I said, hey, real talk. I don't know if you got merchandise, man, but I could see that flying off the shelves, man. I could see it,
Thank you.
man. Um, but yeah, that was good that they did that. I mean, I've heard instances of some vets saying, "Hey, just shut up and watch me" and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's some that they're all like they're all in for the glory for themselves and whatnot.
Mhm.
But the fact that they did that feud, that was pretty awesome as well.
So, I have a funny
Um,
story. So we were backstage and like I said, I was very shy and like I was very quiet, so I was scared. So I feel like in the beginning of like they thought like I was gonna be like scared and I was gonna be timid and everything. So they're like, okay, so we want to hear your outdoor voice when we have the match, and I was like, okay. So then I was shy going into it, and then when I went out there, I started screaming at this kid named Steven. And if it wasn't for that kid named Steven, I don't know what I would have done that day. I was so scared, but Steven, like, he helped me throughout that whole match. And when we came back from the back, they're like, oh my God, you are like a totally different person. We did not expect that at all. And then the fact that I made them laugh and like I made everyone pop, like, was like a great experience because I was obviously new and they just have met me, and the fact that I made a good impression on them was awesome, and that the fact that they took me under their wing and gave me so much advice was just, it was awesome, and I can't thank them enough, to be honest.
That's a great story. That's pretty cool. When you said you became a different person, I don't know if you ever saw Police Academy, but there was a short lady and she'd have like a
Yeah.
tiny little voice. And whenever she got angry, she became a whole different person. Her voice became loud. And I was like, it always cracks me up. Rob is over there cracking up because he knows what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
the thing with my character. I'm different when I'm not in the ring, but when that ring bell rings, I'm a different person. That light just clicks and that's it. That's how my character is. Don't mess with me kind of thing when I'm in that ring.
yeah, and you're doing it right. You were doing it so right that even Vince Russo, Rob is going to ask you about this, but even Vince Russo, a
Yeah.
well-known person, had you on his show. That just goes to show, like, how you're doing it well. Like, he actually contacted you and was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to know what you're doing." So,
Yeah.
just keep on doing it, man. Like I said,
Thank you.
I'm gonna be that fan that's gonna be like, "See, I told y'all she was gonna be something big. Watch it, y'all gonna learn." But
Thank
my last question, Cody Rhodes,
Yeah.
when he left WWE several years ago, he had a list of opponents he wanted to wrestle in the near future, and he posted that list um, on social media, and several wrestlers did the same thing as well.
Yeah.
My last question is, who are the top 5 wrestlers that you want to wrestle in the near future? They could be from anywhere: AEW, WWE, Impact, even Indies. Doesn't matter.
So for AEW, Britt Baker, I would actually love to have a singles match with Allison Kay if I could ever. Um, Also, I would love to have a match with Asuka. I feel like our styles would be awesome, and like I feel like we have the same wrestling style. Because I actually trained with Toy, the man that actually trained Asuka. I trained with him for a bit at Battle Arts Academy. I would also like to wrestle Becky Lynch, as well as Sasha Banks, because like I feel like their wrestling styles are just so awesome, and like I just feel like we'd put on a good match with like both our like wrestling styles. I feel like they would just like flow well together. So those are the opponents I would love to face one day.
Awesome. That's a great list. I could see Toy actually just sitting by and watching you and Oscar wrestle, and
That
just
would be
watching attentively. That would definitely be a sight to see
yeah.
as well. But yeah, I honestly hope you get that. I honestly hope you get that chance to actually face all those opponents and get to travel all over the world. But yeah, just like I said, I see nothing but good things, but
Thank
great
you.
things for you the way you're going. I'm gonna go ahead and pass over to Rob. I know Rob asked some questions for you. So
Yeah.
Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on? How you doing today, Amy?
What's up? How are you?
Oh, I'm well, just hanging out, trying to enjoy this weather. I mean, it's been raining all day, but
Yeah.
you know how it is. So how was your day today? You have a good day today? Do anything
It was
interesting?
it was actually Thanksgiving over here in
Oh,
Canada.
okay.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's just been
nice.
Thanksgiving weekend, so just been chilling with family and basically been doing like the whole Thanksgiving thing. Because I know you
Oh,
guys
that's
have
cool.
Thanksgiving and I think in November in
Yeah,
America,
next
right?
month. Yeah,
Yeah.
next month. Okay, yeah. Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you, your family, and all that. Did
Yeah.
you have any good food? What do y'all have for Thanksgiving up there? Y'all turkey and
The
mac and cheese
basic.
and stuff?
Not
Okay.
mac and cheese. It's actually
Oh,
like just stuffing, mashed potatoes, salad, stuff like that, veggies, and all those basic stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. See, I'm one of those people. I'm like, man, I'd rather have a rotisserie chicken than a turkey. You know, what I mean, I'm more of a chicken person. You know, what I mean, I'm trying to get that started in America. Like, yeah, let's have a rotisserie chicken instead of turkey. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'd rather have that. Oh, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Plus, I mean, I'm also a person that says apple is the superior fall spice to pumpkin anyway. So probably gonna get a lot of hate on that now. But yeah, you were talking earlier, chatting earlier about playing WWE games and stuff, and I wanted to
Yeah.
ask. I wrote it down. What was your favorite WWE game? Do you have one?
I have actually multiple.
Oh, hey, let me know. List them all.
I loved WWE, SmackDown versus Raw 2006 and the 2007 game. Those were my favorites. And then there was Here Comes the Pain and WWE Day of Reckoning on the GameCube. Those were my favorites growing up as a kid.
See, I've never had a GameCube, but I've heard about Day of Reckoning. I heard it was that's one of those ones I'm like, oh, I missed out on that one or whatever. But yeah, SmackDown Raw 06, 07, 08. I like those because of the GM mode. Oh, I spent. Yeah, I can't right now, but if I could, I'd pause and I'd run back to my room and go get my notebooks and stuff. To this day, I still play it with my friends. Like, I have stuff written down, so like we haven't played in a couple months. So when we come back to it, oh yeah, we still got this storyline going on. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, we had to do that, and my nerd.
It was horrible when you had to have those memory cards to save them. So when I was a kid, I would basically play them day and night, but I didn't have the memory card. So the moment I would unplug the PlayStation 2, it would just be all over. There would be no progress or whatever, and I would have to start over again tomorrow.
Oh man, yeah, that's terrible. I learned my lesson though with those memory cards. Just get the name brand, spend the extra money because I would get like the Walmart or Food Line brand or whatever brand. And 2 months later, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna play my game. It's like got it corrupted. And I'm like, what? No! I was like, oh my gosh! And this is like, no, yeah. I'm kind of glad for hard drives nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, when you were saying earlier about Cena being your favorite, you say you never got to meet Cena. You say you haven't met him yet.
I only got to see him wrestle, I think, one time, and it was, I believe, for my 16th birthday. So normal girls my age, when they're 16, would want a sweet 16 birthday party. So my mom gave me an ultimatum, either a sweet 16 party or go to wrestling, and I chose wrestling. So obviously my friends were mad about that, but I chose wrestling, and it was because John Cena was actually going to be there. So that I actually had a chance to see him in the 2010. I believe in 2010 it was like a house show in Toronto. He was supposed to be there, but I think something happened where he wasn't there. So I was actually bummed out because that was actually my first show that I was ever going to be able to go to. And then my mom gave me the chance to go to SummerSlam, and I was like, okay, I gotta go because like I love wrestling, and whenever there was wrestling in Toronto, I had to go. So that was the only time I got to see John Cena, I think, live wrestle.
So what was that SummerSlam experience like? You got to see go there. I haven't been to the big 4 or 5 whatever. I've just been to normal stuff. But what was that like, SummerSlam and stuff?
So cool? The Survivor Series. I went to Survivor Series.
Or Survivor Series.
Yeah, so I went to Survivor Series in 2006, and I went to the Takeover, and it's just a different experience from watching at home. That was actually the first major pay-per-view that I've been to, and it was just an amazing experience. And at that time I wasn't wrestling because I believe I started in 2017, so June of 2017, so it was just like a year after that I went to it. But going there as a fan and not as a wrestler, it was a totally different experience. Like to be around all the people that you could tell all the passion for it, like they love it. It's just different than any other sporting event you go to. Like you can go to a baseball game, but it's not as exciting as like a wrestling event where you're with all these fans and stuff.
I agree with you on that. Like I have more fun at a wrestling event than anything. Like I love music just like everyone else, but if I go to a concert, I'm like, yeah, but you get me to a wrestling event, I'm out there, I'm like, hey, woo! I'm loud. Yeah. I come in and do the podcast with no voice, like, how you doing?
It was fun because my boyfriend, that was his actual first wrestling event he's ever been to. So to experience, he was just like, he was like amazed how much people love it and how fun it was, because you get to do chants and like everyone knows the chants. So it's like you say one thing and then everyone, like, to start a chant, he started his own chant and everyone chanted after him, and he was just so happy. He was like, oh, they started my chant. So it's like, it is a great experience, and that's why I love doing wrestling, because of the fans. Like, it's just like, to make people love what you're doing, that's the reason why I do it.
He didn't give you that look, when Cena and all them were coming out and you started yeah, he wasn't like, what in the world am I doing? Oh my gosh, I might have to make a wig. I'm just teasing.
No, I know. He loves wrestling. It's just he never been to a wrestling event. So to bring him to somewhere I love, it was an awesome experience. And then the fact that I can do this now, like wrestling and wrestle in front of a crowd, it's just an amazing experience. It's two different worlds kind of thing. As a fan and as a wrestler, it's just two different worlds. But I love them both kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you feel. I'm training, like, do ref training and stuff and all that. And I'm actually, November 6th, I'm going to be reffing a show for 1CW. Alongside with CCW. That's the all women's promotion alongside them. But, yeah, sometimes I'll go to shows and all. I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing right there. I kind of pick stuff out, but sometimes I need to get back my fandom and enjoy this. But that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying earlier how, you grew up, you were a very shy person and, all that good stuff. So, yeah, and then, thinking, yeah, you're shy and all, but, now you're in pro wrestling, you got to be out in front of the crowds and doing, podcasts, interviews and stuff. Like, what did you do to, help, I guess, get over that, or maybe not get over it, but, like, all right, get it under control. Like, yeah, I can do this, you know what I mean? So was there anything you did, or you just like, I got to do this?
So basically, when I first started, I was the outcast. Like, I was that person that was very quiet on the top of the bleachers. I would just listen, take notes, and kind of thing, not really talk to nobody. And then we were introduced to basically an acting class, and my teacher was named Matt Bradley at the time, and he was an actor, and he told me, okay, this is the only way you're going to build confidence. So I kept going to his classes, building confidence. And then eventually, like, I went and I talked to Anthony Corelli, and he started to say, okay, you need a character kind of thing. So at the time, I was like kind of like a psycho chick, and it wasn't working out for me.
Uh-oh. I think we got pause. Uh-oh.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi just keeps messing up.
Oh,
But
here we go.
from Multisaga, is where I live. There's some type of slang. So there's like a Toronto slang. And my coach, Santino Mella, aka Anthony Corelli, he heard me and he's like, wait a second, talk again? And I was like, and I would talk, and then he'd be like, that's interesting. You're gangster. Let's use that as a character. Let's say you're from the streets of Malton and just run with it. So then I was like, you know what? That's actually not that bad. And then I ended up doing that. And then people ended up liking it. And I ended up not being like this boring character that nobody cared about. I came out to this character. I did a promo and everyone liked it. And then eventually with this character, I ended up gaining the Battle Arts Women's Championship and then gaining all these other opportunities as well. So without this character and without the advice that my coach, my promo coach and my actual wrestling coach gave me, I wouldn't be where I am today, and you guys wouldn't have seen Amy Crimson. So that's a cool experience itself.
Hey, that is pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, learn from an acting coach. Doing all that and stuff. Yeah, I guess that help out. Yeah. Did they make you do improv stuff? Did you have to do improv stuff like that all the time?
Yeah,
that helped out.
Lots of improv. And honestly, I was never the drama kid. I was never in acting. I would just literally just do gym class. And I was an athletic kid. I would just do soccer and all that. So like the athleticism part was easy for me to learn and pick up. It was just like coming out of my shell and basically coming out of my comfort zone was the issue that I needed to overcome. And then eventually the confidence just came the more I had the reps in. So it just naturally came out when I started to like perform and when I would talk and like do my promos and my character work and everything. So then everything just came together when I had more reps, kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
tomorrow I have training and I got to do a manager thing. I got to get a backstory, all that kind of stuff. You know, that's
Mhm.
kind of my homework and all. You know, I'm trying to work on
Yeah.
that. You know, I'm like, hopefully, you know, what I come up with, you know, can do all right. Because my trainer, he wants me to be a face. He's like, yep, you're going to be a face. You know, my partner, he's like, I want you to be a heel. You know, I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever you want me to do. You want me to stand outside, take tickets, or greet, you know, like a Walmart greeter? I will do that. You know what I mean? I will do whatever you need me to do. So I was talking, yeah, you're doing judo and stuff. I literally wrote down in my notes and stuff, judo plus wrestling equals elite grapple skills. Like that. Why would anybody even lock up with you? Like, oh man, you know, especially that judo. Like, you're just going to take them right down. You know what I mean? That just, yeah. Do they come up with other ways? Like, maybe if I dance around, or maybe if I just do a wrestling shoot takedown or something, maybe that will, you know, help me out or something. But oh man, you know, just what belt are you? Are you a belt rank and stuff in judo yet, or
So I'm a green belt in judo, and I was
okay?
hoping to get my blue belt soon. So hopefully I can obtain my blue belt soon, and then eventually go black belt. So hopefully I can obtain my black belt in judo.
So how does the belt go? You said you're green right now, and then it's blue and then black.
So it's green, blue, brown, red, and then black. So you start
Okay,
off with white, and then you get yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, red, black. So yeah.
okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, you're right on there. But yeah, those judo skills. Yeah, you might have to go start training for Canadian Olympics on that one. You know, I was watching some of them throws and stuff. I was like,
Thank you.
oh, we got another Taz over here or something. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for you to like Kata Hajime and just woo. I was like, man, dislocating some people's stuff. I'm like, oh man. So I do want to ask though about your gear and stuff. I liked your gear
Yeah.
and stuff, you know, with
Oh,
numbers and
thank
all
you.
that. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Who makes your gear? Do you make your own gear? Do you have
Um,
somebody make it for you?
Well, it was actually like right now I don't have anyone who makes my gear. It was actually just custom made from like a cheerleading site.
Oh,
So I just drew out like what I wanted and then I just thought, okay, I'll send it out and then they custom made it and then yeah, that's it. I haven't debuted it yet, but hopefully I can debut it soon.
oh, that's yeah, it seems easy peasy. You know what I mean? Just yeah, go
Yeah,
right to there. You know, just send it to you. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's pretty awesome.
thank
Oh
you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, good luck on the black belt.
Thank you.
And now, when you do black belt, do you all have to do like karate or something? You know, where you see on there where they're breaking bricks, you know, or breaking wood. Do you have to do any of
No.
that?
So
No, you're
it's
good.
mostly just flipping people. And
Okay.
basically, when you obtain your black belt, you have to do an Ontario Judo test. So you have to do an exam. So you have to know all the moves, the names, and like how to perform them. And then also, like, you have to perform, I believe, like a written exam and then a physical exam. So where they examine how you do the moves and if you're able to do them properly, kind of thing. And if you're able to be on the black belt level, kind of thing. So hopefully in the coming years, I can hopefully obtain my black belt. That's the goal. That's one of the goals.
So that's right. Now, is your when you're training regimen, does it help with your stamina for both wrestling and judo? You know, just keep going and running around. Does it help out with that? Are there
Yes.
any disadvantages for doing one or the other?
So they actually intertwine with each other. So majority of the wrestling coexists with the judo. So hip toss is a basic judo throw. So it basically like intertwines with each other. The falling is basically with the judo. So it helps you to basically perfect your craft kind of thing. Like your footwork is on point, you know how to move, your quickness kind of thing. The physical aspect of it is also intertwined as well. You got to do 300 squats or you have to do 100 push-ups or 100 squats. So it's basically the rigorous of the workouts and stuff coexist with the wrestling. So it's not as different as people would think. You're doing grappling, which is groundwork, which with wrestling you do groundwork, as well as flipping people with hip tosses and stuff in wrestling, you do the same thing with judo. So it's just different techniques that are a little different, But judo could be a little flashier, but wrestling is also flashy, so it just coexists.
Now, I believe that it's probably, I'm thinking, like if you're in judo and somebody takes you down, which I don't think anybody can take you down. I think you're awesome. You'd be tearing everyone out. But if somebody ever got, that 1% chance out of, 100, they do. You probably, know how to breathe because when you're going down, you're like, all right, I know where to breathe. I'm not going to really get hurt that much.
I actually
all
like
right, yeah.
better. So it's like I'm good at flipping and like moving my feet and my footwork's good, but I feel more comfortable with the groundwork. So submission based wrestling and judo work. So if I were to be thrown on the ground, I know how to basically work my way up to either into a Kimura lock or I know how to choke them out with my gi kind of thing. So I can protect myself on the ground. That's all.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, that judo and like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you get on the ground like, yeah. Like I used to wrestle in high school, and it's like you're on the ground on your back. It's like no bueno, no. I need to get up now, like ASAP. You're done. Yeah, but judo, yeah, that stuff. Like I got you. Yeah, yeah. Mora, Americana. Oh yeah, just yeah. Oh, just ruthless. Now, I do want to ask about your Vince Russo interview. That had to be awesome. How did that come about? Did he contact you? Was he like at the show? Did he catch some of your matches and were like, "Yo, man, she is awesome. She's badass."
He actually followed me on Twitter, and I just thought, okay, you know what? He followed me on Twitter. He probably knows something about me or whatever. Something intrigued him about me. So I actually ended up messaging him, and I thought I would shoot my shot, and I would be like, hey, I'm an up and coming wrestler, and I found out that you guys do podcasts, and I was just wondering if I can just shoot my shot and be a part of your podcast. And at first he said, okay. He was a little hesitant, and then the moment I said, oh, well, I thought I would shoot my shot, he's like, okay, you're cool. I like you. Let's have you on the show. So the fact that I shot my shot, I guess he respected that. And overall, great human being. Like, he's amazing. He gave me so much advice off camera and stuff. Great advice that I'm going to be taking for the rest of my life kind of thing, and for my career. But overall, it was a great experience. And on top of that, I got over with Vince Russo. So the fact that I got over with Vince Russo, not a lot of people get over with Vince Russo. So the fact that I can make him pop and laugh and basically like get over with him was an amazing experience. So yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, yeah, shoot your shot. You never know. You got unless you ask. You know what I mean? What's the worst thing to say? No, I'm good. No, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, all right, that's cool. It's fine. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, but I guess he respected that, and he was like, "Oh, this kid's cool." Like, and then on top of that, he asked me, he's like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "Only 23." And he's like, "And you're a young kid," and everything. And then he watched some of my stuff. So the fact that he watched some of my stuff, and he asked for promos and he critiqued it, like just like the inner child in me was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like I can't believe like someone that was literally majority of my childhood is looking in it, being interested in me. So it was a cool experience.
Oh yeah, yeah, I bet that was awesome. Yeah, he's a bit. I know he's like a big, Yankees, fan. The New York teams and stuff. Like, yeah, if I got on there, he'd probably like kick me off because I'm an Orioles fan and they're in the same division. They're rivals. He'd be like, oh no, yeah, you're gone. Yeah, no. I'm like, all right, man. Whatever.
And I have a question because every podcast that I've been on, everyone says I have an accent. Is that true?
I mean, yeah.
I don't really hear it, but then again, okay. So, Rob, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but I've been told you're from Toronto, right?
Yes.
So I've been told that Toronto is like the New York of Canada, which it is in a sense because it's kind of busy. So I've heard accents from like Vancouver, Calgary. Shout out to Mike, the Match Heart of the Hart family. He had a bit of an accent, but me personally, I don't hear it from you. I don't know if Rob does, but I personally don't hear it from you.
No, you sound normal to me. I mean, the only time, like, if I heard, yeah, it's a boot this or something, I'm like, okay, here we go. Or if you had a sentence with A. Last time I was in Canada, people were talking to me about that. They're like, how you doing, A? I was like, hey, I'm all right, A.
I don't understand why everyone thinks that we say A all the time. Maybe we do without noticing, but I don't think I ever said A. Like, how you doing, eh? Like, I never say
Yeah.
that. Like, I
Ma-
don't know.
ma- Yeah, maybe it's just thinking of that one part where people in that area
Yeah,
say that. You know what I
maybe.
mean? It's just,
But
yeah, like, yeah. Because I remember when I went there, because I heard in Canada, legal age drink was 19. And I turned 19 here, and we were like, a couple of buddies of mine were like, all right, let's take a road trip, So we went up there, and I remember going up there, and the first person up there, I was like, yeah, let me get in there. Like, ooh, where are you from? No, no, no. I'm like, oh yeah, down south. I'm from the south. They're like, okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, Canada was awesome. I love being up there in Canada. So I do gotta ask, it's like kind of spooky season and all. Is Canada, do you all have, the Halloween type deals? You know what I mean? The
yeah, we
spooky
do
movies,
actually.
all that type of deal. Are you a spooky season type of person? Are you into
I actually
Halloween
love
and?
fall. I don't like Halloween. I'm not into
Mm,
Halloween.
okay.
But I do like fall. I love fall. And we do actually have kind of like what Six Flags does. It's not like so extravagant, like because I seen that Six Flags has like I think mazes like the movies. So like I think they have right now they have like one of Squid Game and stuff.
Mhm.
But at Canada in October we have Halloween Haunt at Canada's Wonderland. It's kind of like the Canadian Six Flags in Vaughan in Mississauga. So yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like actually going to like the abandoned insane asylums and abandoned prisons where they had those ghost tours and stuff. I go there and stuff. I don't go by myself because I'm a little too afraid of that. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's never said Beetlejuice 3 times, Candyman, or any of that. Just in case something happens. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. But yeah, yeah, I like doing that stuff and all. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well,
Now I
I'm
was
not
going
in,
to ask.
I'm not.
Now, I was
I'm
going
not.
to ask you about new movies and TV shows you're watching because I always get stuck watching the same thing. You mentioned that Squid Show. Have you been watching that? I'm kind of leery to check it out. I'm like, I'm kind of scared. You know what I mean? Like,
I kind of only watched like the second episode, so I'm only in one. I don't think I only watched one episode.
oh, I'm
But I
glad.
was more into like You that's coming out on Friday, I think in the Canadian Netflix. And then there's also I was watching Jane the Virgin, which is an amazing show. I finished it. And then there's another one where it's a Latino comedy called One Day at a Time, which is really good. I like that.
Oh, okay.
Stranger Things is really good. I like that one as well.
Hmm.
I'm mostly just a Netflix kind of person and Disney Plus. So like I watch a lot of shows on my free
Cobra
time.
Kai.
I've
Oh
never
yeah.
watched that actually. I
Ooh.
heard it's really good, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. 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 That's definitely good. Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Squid Game. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, because the Saw movies were all right, but then after a while, I was like, whoo. Oh man, I don't know. I can't. I don't know if I can do
Those
that. Yeah.
Korean shows, they don't play like their horror is scary. All the South
Somebody's
Korean movies, they're pure horror. Like when they have a scary movie, it's scary.
somebody once said that they thought Squid Games was about Squidward.
I honestly thought it was about SpongeBob when I first
Mm.
watched it. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good. This is about SpongeBob," and then my boyfriend turns it on, and I'm like, "This ain't SpongeBob.
This ain't no
People
SpongeBob.
up in here." And I'm like, "What is this?"
Oh man, that's great. I remember going to the movie theaters and watch literally watching the Scary Movie by the Wayans brothers and stuff. One and two. I remember watching those and literally I was falling out of my seat crying, laughing. I thought I was going to have to change my drawers and stuff like those movies. I did see the first Saw movie in theaters. I was there with a date because it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take so I take her to a scary movie. Oh yeah, oh scary. But we
Honestly,
sat there. Everybody in the theater was like, like that, man.
honestly,
Like,
as a kid, I was never allowed to watch it, and I'm 23 now, and I still don't want to watch it. Just because I'm a wrestler, but I don't like blood. So like that's one thing I do not like. I don't care how old I am. I don't care how squeamish I'll get. I don't like needles and I don't like blood. I could be the toughest ass wrestler in the ring. I do not care. Do not if my opponent comes with needles and blood, I'm out. I'm knocked out. I'm done. Just pin me. The match
that's
is
right.
done. I can't.
That's right. Yeah, my trainer, he asked me and stuff. He's like, "Can you do how do you feel about death matches? What I mean, reffing them." I'm like, "Mm-mm. No, you can't have the ref over there. You know, when somebody's like all gashed over, like, hold on.
You'll see me in the corner just fainting. I'll be fainted in the corner in the easy pin. 1, 2, 3, done.
Yeah. I don't know if I would faint, but I'll probably definitely lose my lunch and stuff. And everybody's like, "What's he doing in there? Get him out!" I'm like, oh my god, why'd y'all do this? Oh man. But yeah. So uh, do you have any? When's your next match? Do you have one coming up?
So currently I stopped training due to COVID in Canada. I'm waiting until it gets a little bit better to return into the ring. But currently right now I'm mostly focusing on my fitness, so getting back into the ring, in ring shape kind of thing. So I actually started a job at F45, so I'm a personal trainer. So I try and get my cardio in and try to get like into shape kind of thing so that when I do get back into the ring, I'm not dying because of all the drills or I'm not dying in a match kind of thing. So I'm trying to prepare myself and try to build my character and build my brand kind of thing before I get back into the ring.
Now,
So
what does your? Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Go ahead. I was done.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what is your training regimen? Consist of? Because yeah, you're over there. Yeah, you're like, just, man, you got the muscle. Like you're out there dominating. You know, kicking butt. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, if I wanted some tips, I'd ask you. You know, what I mean, how can I get in shape? You know, because I'm trying to get like a little ab. You know what I mean? Like I have one ab coming through. I'm trying to work on it. You know what I mean? Maybe get another one so I can have a 2-pack. So you
So I
know.
mostly focus on like HIIT training and functional training. So that's mostly like my workout regimen. Like it used to be different, obviously. But I noticed that starting at F45 as a personal trainer and a group trainer, that the HIIT training and functional training coexists with my actual wrestling training because there's movements that like I would do with wrestling compared to like F45. So it's actually a really good training facility for athletes. So the fact that I'm an athlete, it just coexists with everything that I need to like basically obtain when I go back into the ring.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Mission Pro Wrestling, Thunder Rosa.
Hopefully
Oh,
that's
that
the
would be awesome. Oh
thing.
yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make a trip to Texas or whatever. You know, if that happens. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I'm definitely going out there because I've never been to Texas. I heard everything's bigger in Texas. You know what I mean? I want to see them big cinnamon rolls
Actually,
and all that.
I could see you and Sky Blue teaming up. Actually, Amy, like two of
Really?
y'all got the same
People
kind. I don't know.
actually say I look like Sky Blue, and I was like, I had to search up Sky Blue, and I was like, oh, who is this girl? And then I looked at her, I'm like, oh, she's a badass. I was like, that'll be an awesome tag team.
Hey,
That'd be so
yeah,
cool.
that youthful female tag team. I could see it, man. I could see it.
Book it right now.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, I'm all for y'all going out there, dominating, taking over titles everywhere you go. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm all for it. I'll be right there supporting you. Like, yeah, that's right. Go do that. Go take that gold. So I do want to say, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to ask, before we, do you have any, since you've been around for like about 3 years or so, do you have any, funny road stories or backstage stories that have happened to you? Like something, something you can share. Obviously, something crazy. Maybe somebody forgot their gear, or stuff like that. Something like that.
So there
You
was
can change the name
actually
to protect the innocent if you need to.
Yeah, so there was actually a funny story. So we were all waiting to go, like there was somebody's theme song went off and it was the wrong theme song. And the girl that was wrestling is very shy and she literally likes her theme song. So we were all like basically like, hey, you gotta go out. Like I know it's not your theme song, but you gotta go out. So she went out, and then as she was going out, like all the other girls were just like dancing to her theme song. And then when she came back, we were like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean that it was like that. Don't worry, it will happen again. And then like we're all dancing in the background, and then she was just laughing because like we were trying to make her feel comfortable and like basically not feel ashamed that it wasn't her theme song or embarrassed. And then there was another time where I was on the road for I think Wrestle Junction. It's a promotion in Toronto owned by Andrew McRae. So I was the only girl on the road trip, and I was with Beef, Sexy Stan, and I believe Frank the Tank and Tino Tolius. And we're all driving, and we stopped by a dollar store, and we pretended to like basically super kick each other, and we're just being like nerds and like just having fun. and this old Italian man just walks into the aisle, and he looks so confused, and he's like, "Madam, what is wrong with you people?" And then the older man, Tino,
Oh man, cut off in the middle of the story. Dang it! Stupid internet.
Yeah, it happens.
It should be back in a second. I'll remember where she left off at.
But shout out to Mikey Pinky Atlantic. Oh, there she's at. She's back again.
Okay.
sorry about that.
Oh no, you're
It's
good.
my wife.
Oh, you're good. You got cut off at like Tony Soprano was like, "What y'all doing? Forget about it." You know what I mean?
Well, this old Italian man was like, "No, what are you guys doing? Like, what's wrong with you people?" And then the older man that was driving all of us for the road trip, Tino Tolius, he was like, "What's wrong with you guys? I can't take you anywhere. My kids are crazy." So we actually told them that we were his kids. And then it was funny because, like, it was just funny. The fact that the old man thought we were crazy, and then that we continued doing it in the, like, super kicking people and everything. It was just funny. And that's, like, one of my funniest stories that I have.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, because I couldn't imagine if I'm just in the dollar store or whatever. Yeah, and everybody just coming there. There's a super kick party. And I'm like, yeah, I might have to stay over here. You know.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. But yeah, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Come on, chatting us about wrestling. Your career, judo, all that good stuff. I wish nothing but the positive things for you, your family, and all that. I wish you nothing but when you get back in wrestling, you start winning that gold everywhere you go. You're champion everywhere. Happy Thanksgiving to you again, your family, and all that. And I hope you have an awesome night. You know what I mean?
You too. Thank you.
Amy, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We really and truly do appreciate it. You are, like I said, you are a phenomenal talent. I can definitely see you going very far. I'm definitely got my eyes peeled. I'm probably going to scream at the top of my lungs like or be like an opera singer when I see you on AEW, and I'll be like, "Yo, we just had her on the show." It's happened before too. We've had people, several. Actually, we've had past guests that have actually gone on to sign with WWE.
Yeah.
And get signed with AEW and so on. So it's always a great thing to see people before they reach to that level and whatnot. And that's
like
the beauty of what we do. Oh yeah, like Roxy. Roxy's now Ring of Honor champion. And it's always a great feeling. That's why you see we never like turn anybody away. Because we don't care if you make it or not, man. The fact that you get into that ring and put on a show for us, that's enough for us to actually want to have you on our show. We don't care if you're Joe Schmo or Jane Schmaine from here and you're only wrestling your own hometown, or I mean, we just want to talk to we just want to hear your story. We just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But with that being said, before we shut down the show, where can fans find you on social media if they want to find out when your next appearance is, if they want to buy Amy Crimson merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book the fantastic skills of Amy Crimson for their show?
So all my socials are basically the same. It's Amy Crimson XOXO. I have a YouTube channel, so if you guys want to check it out, it's just Amy Crimson. All you gotta do is type it up. My Twitter should pop up. Everything should just be Amy Crimson. You should be fine. And I also have a TikTok and a Facebook page, Amy Crimson. So yeah.
Awesome. So y'all definitely go ahead and follow this young woman. She is gonna be she's one of my top 20 to watch in 2022. So make sure you follow her, cop the merch, and whatnot, and support indie wrestling. Most of your most of your favorites that you see in AEW and WWE come from the indies. So definitely go ahead and support them. If you don't, I'm gonna be nice and not let her judo throw you. I'm just gonna, like I said, Rob is gonna come by and eat all your food, and he's gonna leave a skip rope in your pots and pans. That means you gotta skip a meal because he done took all your food already. So, and he'll do it to you. See how skinny he looks. So make sure you go ahead and support indie wrestling. They do it for y'all, man. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut down the show. My stomach is grumbling, so that means it's time for dinner and maybe some AEW Dark Elevation and then WWE Raw. But before we do that, I just want to give a special shout out to Mikey Pinky Atlantic, huge women's wrestling fan, huge Pink Dream Alex Gracia fan. Mikey, thank you for being on our show earlier today. We definitely appreciate you, and thank you for coming back and checking us out again. It means a lot to us. It shows that we're at least doing something right. But and to the rest of y'all that are with us, thank you very much. I can't thank you enough. And with that being said, Rob Bass, the Royster 5, the Eminem to my Royster 5'9", the Paul Wall to my Chameleonaire, Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and many other comparisons. Where can fans find you on social media if they want to talk wrestling? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, Rob_Bass82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Bass.
Awesome. And if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on Twitter under @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28. I normally don't have a lot of cool stuff to say, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and maybe you'll actually see me say something. But yeah. However, our Instagram is on social media. Yes, we're on Twitter and Instagram under @Ringside Society. We are also on Twitch under Ringside Society 2019, which is where this episode is being one of the platforms where this episode is being streamed. We're also on Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook group. Type in Ringside Society, you'll find us. Go ahead and join us. We're also on YouTube. Yes, we have a YouTube channel, which is one of the other platforms that this episode is being streamed at. Just type in YouTube, and when you see that sweet, oh so unbelievably sweet dark blue and light blue yin and yang sign with the blue flames around it, you'll know it's us. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't personalize that subscription. Subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And we also have a Teespring store. Yes, we actually sell Ringside Society merch. So go ahead and check us out. We have, hoodies for hoodie season, which is right now. Go ahead and cop a hoodie. We got coffee mugs for your pumpkin spice lattes, your green tea lattes, your hot chocolate with marshmallows, or just your good old fashioned coffee. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. And with that being said, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at McDonald's for the 2 for $6, and Rob Bass at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want everybody to know that we understand that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast, but we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the ever so impressive judoka, former Battle Arts Academy women's champion, who's going to kick some ass and take some names in 2022, and is one of my top 20 to watch in 2022. What type of podcast are we?
We're a wrestling fans podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we'll be back tomorrow with another impressive guest. We're going to be a bit earlier. It's actually going to be around lunchtime. So make sure you got your lunch next to you, because we're going to have an impressive guest. And let's just say this is another one you want to watch out for next year as well. But until then, we're still going through a pandemic. COVID is still a thing. So until it's over, stay healthy, stay safe, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.